In every great struggle, the deadliest enemy often isn't the one you face on the battlefield. It's the one that grows from within. The slave army, once a beacon of hope and a symbol of unified defiance against Rome, was about to face its most critical test, not against legions, but against its own ambitions. Spartacus, the visionary, saw a future beyond Italy. His plan was audacious but clear. Lead his people across the treacherous Alps, to freedom, to a life beyond the shadow of their former masters. It was a strategy for survival, for a new beginning. But not everyone shared this vision. Enter Crixus, the indomitable Gaul, a warrior forged in the fires of the arena. His heart didn't yearn for distant lands, burned for revenge and the spoils of war. Why flee when the riches of Italy were ripe for the taking? Why seek freedom in the unknown when glory could be seized right here, right now? For Crixus and his followers, the war wasn't about escape, it was about retribution. They wanted to march on Rome itself, to make the Republic pay for its arrogance and cruelty. This was the Great Divide, the schism that would shatter the rebellion. Arguments turned into ultimatums. The bond of brotherhood, forged in blood and shared suffering, began to crack under the weight of two opposing dreams. Spartacus pleaded for unity, for focus on the long-term goal of freedom. Crixus, however, saw this as caution bordering on cowardice. His followers, hungry for plunder and immediate victory, rallied to his side. The unified front was no more. With a heavy heart, Spartacus watched as Crixus led a massive contingent of about 30,000 rebels, mostly Gauls and Germans, southward. They were a formidable force, but they were now alone. They turned away from the Alps and marched toward their own destiny, a path paved with ambition and a thirst for vengeance. Rome, which had been reeling from defeat after defeat, couldn't believe its luck. The Senate, once paralyzed by fear, saw its opportunity. They dispatched 2 consular armies, not against a single unstoppable horde, but against a fractured enemy. Crixus and his men, blinded by their initial successes in southern Italy, became overconfident. They fought with incredible bravery, but their lack of a cohesive long-term strategy made them predictable. Near Mount Garganus, the legions of the consul Lucius Gellius Publicola cornered Crixus's army. The battle was brutal and bloody. The rebels fought with the desperation of men who had nothing to lose, but they were outnumbered and outmaneuvered. Crixus, fighting like a lion at the forefront, was ultimately struck down. With his death, the spirit of his army broke. The slaughter was immense, a catastrophic blow to the rebellion. 2/3 of his forces were wiped out. The news of Crixus's defeat was a grim lesson for Spartacus. It proved that their greatest weakness was not the strength of Rome's legions, but their own disunity. The seed of their own destruction had been sown and tragically reaped. The dream of a united front was dead, and the path ahead was now shadowed by loss and a terrible, undeniable truth. Divided, they would fall. Thank you for watching. If you found this chapter of history as compelling as we do, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the past. See you next time.